Hello, my friends. Welcome to EdTech with Adam. I'm extremely happy and excited today to have with me Nuala Trainor from Sentireal as we're continuing on with our series on some amazing apps that people can use for education, for people with autism, for developing a whole bunch of really great and useful skills that they need in daily life. And welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today, Nuala.
Lovely to be here, Adam. Great, yes.
Could you please tell me just a bit about yourself and how you got into all of this?
Yes, so myself and my husband David set up the company Sentireal in Belfast in 2013. We specialise in virtual and augmented reality and see the benefit of immersive tech for loads of training applications. And the opportunity came up a few years ago to start to look at how immersive tech could be applied for autism. So we have both a professional and a personal interest in autism. We have twins in the middle of our four children, a boy and a girl, who are on the autistic spectrum. Both at either end of it, I must say, really mainstream special education, slow speech, no speech. I mean, it's absolutely great. And we embrace autism. Anyone who knows us knows what autism is all about. So we had the opportunity a few years ago to look at how virtual reality could be used to assist autism. And it was great because it was a project that we knew so much about. Our twins are now 19, having been diagnosed with autism at the age of 3, and to us, it's just part of our lives. So we were especially interested because we knew really all the different issues and how immersive tech could be used to help these and address these issues. So that was an amazing opportunity for us, Adam.
Hmm. And you all started with VR kind of stuff before, so you were already working on that kind of tech, and then you found out about. Was it from research or from like the news? Like, how did you find out about how
So,
autism can be so positively affected by VR?
yeah, it was actually a project that came up through our local education authority here in Northern Ireland. And they were looking for solutions to assist with autism intervention in schools. And they gave up just a very broad spectrum. So we were lucky enough to link in with a local primary school. Millennium Integrated Primary School, which we had great connections with. And this is a Microsoft Showcase school. So they embraced this idea. They have amazing provision for children with autism. Our children had gone through the school. We had a professional and personal relationship with the staff there, and they were so keen to help us. We obviously knew about autism in the home setting and had a knowledge of it in the educational setting, and the both parties came together to produce a prototype, which we called a changeover. So we had numerous meetings with the staff at the school, and we said we want to focus on the issues and the problems our autistic children face in school. And they instantly said the major thing was transitions. You know, I hate transitions in my life. I love to be prepared. I'm sure you do too, Adam.
Hmm.
We go out every day and we have our schedules on our phone and we have our notes. And I love lists. And where would I be without them? And it's the same for your autistic child. Um, Providing them with some form of guidance and preparation.
Hmm.
So between ourselves and the school, we were up and down regularly and visiting them and chatting to them, chatting with parents, getting the children involved, and really how can we prepare for transition. So we looked at some transitions that happen on a daily basis in school,
Hmm.
and we decided to look at the transition from the classroom to the dinner hall for either a school prepared meal or your packed lunch, and then the transition out into the playground and looking at the various scenarios that can happen there and how can we help the children. Very often autistic children are really, they just don't know how to approach other children to play,
Hmm.
how to make that leap, how to make that request, how to approach someone appropriately. And with the beauty of VR is in all our training, we call it risk-free training.
Hmm.
And the child can learn from using the VR headset, learn these various scenarios and try and retry until they get it right, or they get it to a stage where they're happy with to go and practice it in real life settings. So that's what we
Mm-hmm.
aimed to do when we were creating our changeover, our prototype for our application.
And on top of that, there's also not only no risk, but there's also a reward system built into it as well, which isn't really built into real life in the same way, right?
Yes, that's it. So there's the opportunity, a gamification element, I
Mm-hmm.
suppose. That can be collecting stars. That can be actually when you select the right item that it twinkles, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Interestingly, in more advanced headsets, you can use like hand movements and gestures,
Mm-hmm.
and it's amazing. And in some of our more recent applications, if you get the correct level within a training scenario, your hands that you can visualize in this virtual world, they can glow or they can change color or things like that. So you think of the potential there. So your autistic child, my child when he was young, loves glow lamps
Mm-hmm.
and the nice lights and things like that. Very sensory. So you're able to replicate things like that in a virtual world. So it's amazing.
It's very cool. Very, very
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
So, how about we go ahead and take a look at it here? And I believe you mentioned that you have a video that you'd like to show us.
Yes, Adam, I have a short demo here. I will play for you, and I'll chat. I love to talk, so that'll not be a problem. I'll chat about what is going on. So we named this application Changeover, reflecting the transitions and changes that children make in school during the day. So this initial part you can see here is the tutorial, and that is to allow the children to become used to using the laser. So you can see the instructions there, click on the cube, and it's really, rather than going straight into the application, they can try it first and play around with it. So that's a few simple choices for the children to make, and familiarizing themselves with being in this VR world, to the sounds, to everything they can see, and the choices they have to make. So this was built using the Unity Games engine, and we modelled it on the exact replica of the school that we work with, Millennium Integrated Primary School, and the very uniforms are the same. They match the children's uniforms there.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the classroom setting. So again, there's lots of trying this technology out. We actually did 360 audio as well, and it is the sound of the actual canteen and the classroom situations. And there you can hear the teacher's voice in the background. So using familiar voices and sounds the children would be used to. So here we are incorporating some elements of the curriculum, healthy eating being especially important. And here is a child picking dinner options. So we had the very healthy, the not healthy, and the healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And as you saw, the child picking on the best option, and it highlighted here. This option here is being asked to sit at the green table. So following instructions,
Mm-hmm.
making right choices, integrating elements of the curriculum. And here we are then making the transition out to the playground. And this again was modelled on the exact playground of the school that we were in, though a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them are similar. Now, this particular school had a large Connect Four type game, matching up game, and this example shows the child being able to approach someone and playing the game. This is kind of a bit of turn taking, yellow turn, red turn. And the children in real life absolutely loved playing with this. This was great, and it really surprised us, the outcome of it. It was so simple, and
Mm-hmm.
they really loved it. So this is just at the end then, showing how they can get a score. There's different gamification. You can also build, when we hope to build the entire platform out, it can go up various levels.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just going over those scenarios again. And in this case, it's the child choosing to go to the canteen and choosing a packed lunch scenario as opposed to a hot meal from the dinners or whatever,
Hmm.
following the instructions. So this really represents then, I suppose, the transitions children make, following instructions, making right choices, friendship choices,
Hmm.
all within this very small snapshot that I'm showing you here.
Hmm.
Um, and again, there's choosing from three types of a lunchbox, where the reward is the healthy lunchbox for healthy eating.
Hmm.
So that's really the end of that demo video.
Great. So you're mentioning that the school there was designed actually to look like that. Was it the Millennium School there?
Yes, yes.
Is that a standard thing? Like, will you design every every platform for every school or something? Is that something a school can
No,
request or?
there. I suppose if schools want to personalize uniforms or whatever, that could be done.
Hmm.
Um, but I suppose the generic platform would just really represent a school model. We have built as
Hmm.
well a secondary school model.
Hmm.
I didn't show you it there today, but it features classrooms like the science lab and the chemistry, the home economics room, and things like that, and a different hallways, because it is different, because that's another transition we had looked at, the transition from primary into secondary levels, so it's really given the opportunity to try out these transitions
Hmm.
time and time again, which is great. And with regards to the VR, we got parents on board and children to try this out. And I was originally thinking, will there be reluctance on it? And the younger generation are just amazing, because I brought the headsets up and I said, listen, explained. We had like parental permissions and things like that.
Hmm.
And I said to the children, are you okay with this? You're going to put this on. Have you tried one on before? And before I even had the words out, they had the set on their heads and were into it. It's just amazing to see how they embrace it, and the potential for moving forward, that it's becoming the norms
Mm.
rather than just something out of the ordinary, or whatever, the power of the immersive teaching, and it is, it's next best to the real thing,
Hmm.
that learning by doing, and all that. So it's great. So the VR has great potential that we see.
And I'm so happy to hear that the children are okay with having the headset on, because I remember one of the research projects that Dr. Nigel Newbutt did was especially on whether or not they would be comfortable putting this
Yes.
device on their heads, and something that for a lot of autistic children could be quite challenging, but it turned out to be okay. So,
Well, do you know what? We find that the headsets are getting more lightweight
hmm.
and durable. They're coming down in price.
Hmm.
They're more accessible. And that particular application was designed and built on the Oculus Go. We
Hmm.
are now using the Oculus Quest, and it
Right.
incorporates the 6 degrees of freedom. So when you're walking forward in real life, it's translated into the headset as well, and that's lightweight and coming in at a great price point too. So it's like the hardware. When it is originally launched, it's very expensive, not accessible, and then the price comes right down. So it's great to see all those additional features too, and lightweight, and absolutely no reluctance on the part of the autistic children wearing it. And that was
Hmm.
great. I think their parents were more concerned than the children.
Yeah, tell me about that. I'm curious about the reaction of the parents throughout all this, because it's a very different concept for a lot of people who didn't grow up with this technology, right?
Absolutely. But there was a lot of questions. So we would have done like parent sessions, told them what it was about, and it wasn't until they actually tried it on that they really got what we were talking about.
Hmm.
Um, And what encouraged them was when they saw the reaction of the children. And you know what? We had to time the children using the headsets. It was because otherwise you would have been there all day, you know, with one particular child. So it was like we had a timer, and we set the timer and told them at the start, we will be, when you hear this timer ringing, you know, that it's your turn is up. And again, it's all turn taking and things like that. So they were very comfortable with it and very happy to be part of it. And you know, the price, you know, the likes of children always have their wish lists for Christmas and stuff like that. We saw a lot of headsets going on to wish lists for Christmas, you know, in and around the price of PlayStations or Switch consoles or whatever. I mean, the headsets are up there now as well. So great. I think there's a lot of games and things available within VR. So it's something that will become the norm, and the children are embracing it. And that's certainly what we've seen.
Another great thing about that is with this technology, since it can accommodate these autistic children, but at the same time acclimatize them to the VR environment, something that other children are also getting into, it gives them more social access points to
Yeah.
build these relationships, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just limitless the amount of interactions that could be built in. I mean, I showed you a small snapshot, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
that can really be extended upon. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's great too. We just love working with groups who can really guide us. We have a great knowledge of autism, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
you're always learning. And how about we include this, or have you thought about providing this? It's brilliant, yeah. But the possibilities are great, and also providing children with familiarizing them with the virtual reality, as you say, because there
Mm-hmm.
are so many other subjects now where that is the norms. You know, your history lesson where you're put back the time Cleopatra or whatever, or your geography lesson where you're in the middle of that volcano or whatever. It's amazing. It's so good, yeah.
Yeah, and it's becoming a lot more common now. So it's again great
Yeah.
to get them into the whole system and get this, and also helps VR get kickstarted as well here.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
just that acceptance of it, and the how it's becoming so widespread. It's brilliant, and it's not. Our autistic children are included in it; they're not
Mhm.
excluded. You know, it's great, and there's great potential to assist them. Brilliant, yeah.
Definitely. So one other thing I wanted to talk about is in terms of things like compliancy and data collection, because this is something that everyone's talking about in the States and
Yeah,
Canada. It's one of the biggest roadblocks for most platforms, no matter what they are, for them to come into these school systems, institutions. So in the future, I think you were mentioning a little bit towards the beginning there that right now, Sentireal, this autism platform here, it's still in development, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
in the future, how do you plan on rolling that out in terms of, again, like data collection and maybe some
Yeah.
potential compliancy things?
Yeah. Well, I suppose any of our training applications, you know, we have to take the GDPR very seriously.
Hmm.
And we have our company policies all in place regarding data collection, whether it's collected or not. You
Hmm.
know, some applications don't require data collection, but certainly if they do, we have all our controls in place for users, for access to their data, for the right to be able to see it or delete it or whatever. And um, you know, if the data is going to be shared, you know, all this. So there's all the permissions that must be in place and all the rights of the individuals. So that certainly would be addressed in all our training applications. If it is going to be stored, how secure is it going to be stored? Is it encrypted, etc., etc.? So that is something that, as an organisation, we would be addressing anyhow. Yeah.
And I believe you also mentioned that you'd be following the standard guidelines. If people want to request access to their personal data and
Yes.
what's being collected, you'd also be able to give them that too, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That's paramount, really. You know, for it also gives people confidence in when they're purchasing your products or signing up to it or whatever, that there's the compliance is in place, and that's especially where children are concerned as well, that you want all that data to be. So it could be that it's just retained within the school. It could be that it's not collected, but if it is, like statistics for monitoring, or for monitoring training, for monitoring progress, that is all those compliancy issues are addressed and put into place. Yeah.
Excellent. And so we were talking a lot about accessibility earlier. And of course, one other big factor for accessibility is sort of the pricing. So what kind of pricing model are you looking towards in the future? Like, how would that apply to institutions, individuals? Will it be subscription? Will it be a one-time purchase? So how are you thinking about this at the moment?
Yeah, well, I suppose most of our applications are under the a SaaS model, software as a service. So that would be mass subscription. And we had initially discussed having different, like a tiered model, really. So there could be one for instance, an organisation such as a school or college to buy a number of subscriptions as a bundle. And again, there could be another model for parents wishing to avail of it at home, possibly another one for charities or whatever. We're still looking at those prices at this stage for going forward.
Cool. And if some institutions, schools, or individuals would like to reach out to you, maybe to contribute to any research you're doing, or to maybe get more participation or conduct some test or pilot tests in Canada or the States or anywhere else, what kind of information could you give us about that? What could we do?
Yes, well, we do a great bespoke service. So I suppose it's an opportunity for schools or interested parties to reach out with us, and we would take it forward from there. We have an address on our website. We are www.sentireal.com. So that is a monitored address that we would always respond to any applications coming in. We are on all the social media channels, so we are contactable, and we are always very keen to open dialogue with interested parties moving forward.
That's wonderful. I'm sure a lot of people would love to do that. And are there any other things that we didn't talk about that you'd like to add on before we wrap up here?
I can't think of any at present. Probably tonight I'll sit and think, oh, I should have said X, Y, and Z. That's always the way. But I think we've covered everything.
Perfect. Well, it was such a pleasure having you here, Nuala. Thank you very much for taking the time to show us this amazing platform. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it continues to develop in the future. I hope we can see a lot of widespread development and implementation across like different universities and schools and stuff like that around the world. And it's just so wonderful having you here talking with us.
Yeah, it's been lovely. Just to really talk about our product and put it out there. So great to chat with you too, Adam.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nuala. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, thank you.